McFarland. Good morning. It's Tuesday. You ever have one of those days where you start off with a to-do list, and the longer the day goes, the later the day gets, the longer the to-do list gets, like things get added but not subtracted? We've had days like that before. Feels like that's relevant in the context of what's happening with FBI Director Kash Patel, who has been sued again as he continues the purge, and the Department of Justice continues this purge of longtime civil servants inside the agency. A dozen fired FBI agents have just filed a lawsuit naming Patel and the Department of Justice, alleging unlawful retaliation for their firings. These are longtime agents in some cases, counterterrorism agents in some cases, who say they were fired for political reasons, for how they responded here in Washington, D.C. in the summer of 2020 during unrest after the murder of George Floyd. They allege in the 40-plus page lawsuit that they were the agents who used kneeling as a de escalation technique to try to stop that crowd from getting violent. That's what they allege in their civil lawsuit, and that was the foundation of a political firing by FBI Director Kash Patel. They argue in the suit that kneeling was an effective de escalation technique and was necessary for any number of reasons. But this is not the first federal lawsuit Kash Patel has faced for this purge that is ongoing and large in scope inside the FBI and the Department of Justice. This dozen former FBI agents argues that Patel has a pattern of abusing the processes inside the FBI. What's more, they call it unlawful political retaliation, as is evidenced by Patel's changes in how he handled the agents in the June 2020 George Floyd aftermath and the January 6th agents. They allege in the lawsuit that Patel blames the agents for what happened in summer 2020 and blames FBI leadership for the FBI's response on January 6th. They argue in the suit that's because Patel thinks that the summer 2020 unrest was from people who opposed President Trump, whereas the January 6th rioters are people who supported President Trump. The FBI won't comment on the lawsuit, but there are a number of FBI formers who've now filed suit. Kash Patel has a growing legal docket as his tenure gets longer.